Good afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. It's about 12:50 at the time I'm recording this, so it's probably going to be 1:15, 1:20, something like that by the time it finishes uploading. At any rate, I just wanted to touch base with where thoughts are right now with the winter storm that should arrive tomorrow night and last through Monday night or early Tuesday. Because I've been seeing a lot of panic out there among snow lovers, especially on Twitter. I'm worried about they're seeing east trends with the model runs, especially the GFS, and so some people are freaking out about it. So I wanted to take a few minutes and take a look at where things are, where my thought process is right now. Um, this is what we put out last night, just kind of a generic county by county map. I didn't want to put specific lines on the map yet. So if I were going to change this map, I would probably move that pink area with the highest snowfall risk, and I would probably move it down a county row or so, and maybe expand it a little southwest. And then I would probably trim off the northwestern county rows, like probably up around Lafayette, Crawfordsville, kind of out toward like Vermilion County, some of those counties out there. I'd probably trim some of that down to a lower snow amount. But now I'm not at the point of one, I don't forecast for all those areas. And two, I'm not at the point I'm really ready to put lines on a map yet. So, as far as the confidence that was expressed yesterday, it's almost a lock would get at least 1 to 3 inches of snow. 3 to 6 inches, I had 80% confidence on yesterday. I would put that closer to 90% today. In the video that I did yesterday, I said that if this storm missed us, so to speak, we would still get a 3 to 6, 4 to 6 inch snow, and I still feel good about that. Then I had a 60% confidence in 6 to 9 inches of snow. I would probably leave that alone. I think we would probably be closer to the lower end of that, but there's if this storm can track a little bit farther northwest, and sorry about the notification there. I'm doing this on my phone because I think it's probably easier for you to see the graphics. So at any rate, getting over 9 inches of snow can't be totally ruled out, but the chances are pretty low. The storm would have to track farther north or northwest and really tap into the cold air and fluff the snow up. But it can't be ruled out, and you'll see that with one of the models here. So that said, I don't want to show you. I want to show you from the worst model for Madison County. If you like snow, the worst model for Madison County, up toward the better ones. First, I'm going to take a look at the white L down in Texas. That's kind of the initial wave that's causing a little bit of trouble down there now. It'll track up to our southeast. It'll kind of bring the first little wave in tomorrow night into early Monday. Probably won't bring a whole lot, an inch or two. And I don't know that it'll quit snowing at any point on Monday, but there'll be maybe a little bit of a lull. And then the second low, which is the orange L back there, it's going to want to follow that interior channel there that I have the orange arrow in. Of course, that'll all shift to the southeast over the course of the next day. So by the time it shakes out, where I expect that low to track is pretty much in line with where it was modeled to track yesterday, kind of up through eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, and I'm kind of a dork. I will sit and literally, I'll have this up on a big computer screen, and I will literally measure the progression eastward of the storm tracks and the storm, and figure out how many, how much territory it's going to cover over the next day or so. And so, doing that kind of thing, I'm still feeling pretty good about the storm track that as it was laid out yesterday. Maybe slightly southeast, but we've got a building high pressure over the southeast. Got a little bit of southeast ridge that's building. Everybody's paying attention to the suppressing high pressure that'll be dropping into the northern plains with this Arctic air. but the southeast ridge is going to be working against that some and will slow down the advance of the storm track. So I don't think that we're going to see the huge shift east, but I can't rule it out. So now we'll take a look at the models. This is the GFS. I believe this is the 12Z, and you can see it made a big shift over into Ohio. Again, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that it's going to be able to shift that far east. And one of the things I also look at with these models is I look at some of their output versus real world conditions. And one of the things I'm seeing is the GFS is giving that, Northern Plains high pressure a lot more power than what it has. For our area, as a matter of fact, right now the GFS has modeled our pressure 7 millibars higher than what it actually is. So if the pressure was actually 1025 millibars, 1028 millibars, even like what the GFS is trying to spit out, then yeah, there would be more suppression. But really, we're right now at 1018. So that's the lower pressure here means that high pressure to the west is either farther northwest or isn't as strong. Looking at various weather stations, it's not as strong as what the GFS has. So I think the GFS is probably going to correct itself. Maybe it won't. Maybe it sees something nobody does, but its real world conditions right now are not correct. But, so worst case scenario, and I do think this is a worst case scenario for Madison County. Again, if you're a snow lover, great case if you hate snow, is, 3.5, 4 inches. This is the worst that anybody, any of these models have spit out. This does account for the snow ratio. The NAM, to me, if there's going to be a miss, this is the miss. It's still got, Madison County picking up, anywhere from 4 to close to 6 inches, 4 inches northwest, 6 inches southeast. To me, this is a legitimate miss track. If it suppresses a little farther southeast than we expect. And I said in a video yesterday, I thought, again, that a miss for this storm would be a 3 to 6, 4 to 6 inch snowfall. And I still feel that's the case. And that's kind of where the NAM is on this. Same with the high resolution Canadian. If you remember in the video yesterday, the Canadian had 2 separate swaths of high snow totals, and I explained yesterday why I thought that was wrong. Well, the Canadian has realized that and has dropped that. So it's become a little more sensible. Again, this is a good miss scenario. It's still got us countywide around 5 to 6 inches of snow. I think that's pretty legit. This is the GFS V16. This is the version of the GFS that NOAA is going to switch to replace the legacy GFS. This model has hardly moved in the last couple of days. It's waffled a little bit, but not much, not like the others. And you can see it's wanting to crank out 11 inches of snow for Madison County. That's possible. Things would have to go perfect for that to happen. But it can't be ruled out totally. So I would take each version of the GFS as the extremes. The Legacy is the extreme low, and the V16 is the extreme high. This was the 6Z Euro. Now the Euro does not account for snow ratio, so this is at a 10 to 1. You take a look, and it's still got Madison County at a 10 to 1 snow ratio. It's got us at 6 inches. So I think on some level it is accounting for the cold air. It's why it's keeping its totals up even at 10 to 1. So, if this were a 15 to 1 snow, then that would, put down a, 9-inch snow or so. So, again, I think that's pretty legitimate. And when we take a look at the NDFD, which is the National Weather Services model, and this is the one that they will generally lean on when they're issuing their advisories and statements. And you can see that even it still has Madison County, has Anderson at 6 inches of snow, has about 5 inches northwest, and getting close to 7 inches southeast. So the 5 to 7 inches that was in the winter storm advisory text yesterday is looking pretty solid right now. I really kind of wouldn't see any reason to question that at this point. We'll be right on the cusp at that. Usually, in order to be in a winter storm warning, they're anticipating 6 inches or more of snow. So we'll be right on the cusp of that. But I expect that Madison County will be in a winter storm warning here in a little bit, but they may opt for a winter weather advisory. Either way, don't get hung up on numbers. Don't get hung up on exact locations, because as we've all seen before, nature does not care where we put the lines on our maps, where we put the numbers on our maps, what we think it's going to do. It's going to do what it wants to do. So this kind of gives you, that's all the models I'm going to go through, but that kind of gives you a general idea. So most of the models are still kind of hanging out in that 5, 6, 7 inch range. Like I said, you got the two versions of the GFS that are on the extreme high and extreme low. At this point, I don't think I would change the forecast much, other than, like I said, maybe a shift southeast some. But when I do a snow map here in a little bit, I'm not going to have anything beyond the bordering Madison County and our bordering counties as usual anyway. So at this point, I'm not sure I would really change much about the forecast, other than to say that I had us in a 6 to 10 inch yesterday, and we will probably be closer to the lower end of that, but the higher end of it can't be ruled out. So one other thing I want to touch on is, regardless of the snow amount, don't get hung up on whether we get 3 inches of snow or 10 or 11 inches of snow. If we get 3 inches of snow, we're going to have winds that are going to be gusting 25 to 30, maybe even 35 miles per hour at times, which would be near blizzard condition. But at 25, 30 miles per hour, you got 2, 3, 4 inches of light powdery snow blowing around. That's going to cause a lot of problems. So for Tuesday, I would plan on, at the bare minimum, school delays, but probably school closures, in most of Indiana. Really, most of the southern half to 2/3 of the state is probably going to be dealing with delays and probably closures. And you couple that high wind with wind chills that'll be, -10, -15, and air temperatures that'll be a little bit either side of zero Tuesday morning, and it's going to be a bad combination. It'll be really hard for them to keep any kind of, keep roads open at all because of the blowing. And so I just would plan ahead for there to be closures. If you've got to do any kind of traveling and you can stay wherever you're going to be going, that might not be a bad idea as well. So, and then one other thing here while I'm busy rambling is somebody asked me on one of the pages that I shared the weather page stuff to the other day about whatever happened to too cold to snow. There's technically no such thing as too cold to snow. If we could get too cold to snow, we wouldn't have any snow and ice at the poles, because they're the coldest places on the planet in general, and yet they still get plenty of snow. But what generally happens here in the mid-latitudes is, if we get a really strong Arctic blast, it's not that it's too cold to snow, it's that those tend to come with really high pressure and really dry air. So with the high pressure, you can't get the lift to pick up any moisture that might be in atmosphere and run it, lift it through the dendritic growth zone. And 2, you probably don't even have the moisture available to do so. So that's why usually when we get brutal cold air, we don't get a lot of snow or don't get any snow, except for on the leading edge as the cold air moves in. It's not because it's too cold. It's just because in our area of the world, that cold usually comes with extremely dry air. So with that, I will stop rambling. I will probably issue a forecast here in a little bit. I would expect the National Weather Service here in the next couple of hours or so, some late this afternoon, early this evening, to decide on either a winter storm warning or a winter weather advisory. And so we'll update you when that comes, and we will also I will put out a forecast map. Again, keep in mind with this stuff, it's forecasting. It's not prophecy. It's, there's no crystal balls for anybody to be certain on what's going to happen. We're watching fluid dynamics and thermodynamics through a 10-mile thick column of air over millions and millions of cubic miles of air mass, and trying to figure out how that cold air and that warm air and the moisture and the dry air are all going to interact as they spin around each other. And so the fact that we forecast as anybody forecasts as well as they do is really a testament to science. So, whether our forecast happens or doesn't happen, or somebody else's happens or doesn't happen, take it easy on your forecasters. And, this stuff, if you dive into it, it's almost mind numbing how difficult it is to forecast. So with that, I thank you all for following us. I thank you, those of you who have been able to donate to help us cover costs and help us hopefully improve things down the road. Thank you very much. If you haven't visited madcoweather.com, or as some people see, Mad Cow Weather, Mad Cow Ether, I guess it would be. But anyway, if you haven't been to madcoweather.com, please go check it out and read some of the blogs, donate if you can. And other than that, for now, this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates, and we will talk to you later. Thank you.